Wait, was that it? Was was that was that it? That can't be it, right? That ugh. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and this is Daredevil, Born Again, season 2, episode I don't know 6, 7. What the fuck is this episode? I don't know. It's the Jessica Jones episode. What a letdown! That was what a talk about a character that feels shoehorned in, and then like they don't organically use her in the story, and then she's gone. I'm like, is she coming back? Is that it? This feels it feels really weird. You know, like when they do like a backdoor pilot and a character shows up for some reason, and or they do like a crossover episode between two shows that aren't supposed to be crossovered, like, and you're like, how did Grey's Anatomy get into Will Trent? And you're like, I don't know, whatever. What's up, guys? Um, I don't know if that crossover has ever happened, but that's what it felt like. Would be if hey, look, it's the cast of The Walking Dead on Game of Thrones. I don't know how this happened, but okay. Uh, so let's go with it. So, um, audio description is still Deluxe, narrated by William Michael Redmond, I believe, unless I'm hallucinating. And so a lot happens in this episode. It confirms that Vanessa's dead. Kingpin is upset. So he gives his surgeon the bear hug of death. I'm just like, so the whole episode is about like whether or not like who's standing with Kingpin, who's not, and the ill-defined Mr. Charles, played by Matthew Lillard, is back to vaguely just sort of stand in rooms with like the idea that like the weight of 1,000 armies is behind him, and he just sort of like stands there and smirks and is like, well, this is what we're gonna do. Oh, so I guess after Vanessa's death, Fisk just doesn't care anymore. So he takes all the guns back for himself and arms his you know, from the files of Police Squad, with a whole bunch of with more guns than apparently, you know. So all the guns that had been carried on the ship, which was supposed to go to Mr. Charles's clients, end up going to just Fisk and his people, so they can continue to murder whoever they want. But mainly, hopefully, get Daredevil and Bullseye. And I guess Jessica Jones, although Jessica says it wasn't it she wasn't attacked by Kingpin's people, that these were different agents that had been sent to her, with really no follow-up on that, with no like she doesn't really get to explain her connection to Mr. Charles. I'm like, was there a season of Jessica Jones that I just didn't get? That because I feel like I saw the whole run of the show, and you're making it sound like Jessica and Mr. Charles had like their own season together, and like this is some great reunion of the two of them. And she alludes to the fact that the government was looking for people like her and trying to recruit them. For what? Like, there's so many questions that she opens the door to. It doesn't. She's like, I know, so there's some people in Charles. Okay. Uh, and you know him how? How did she get a daughter? Like, where did that come from? There's this adorable, and you're not really supposed to know it's her daughter, so there's not really a whole lot of exposition or closure onto like how she has a daughter. Is her daughter powered? Is there anything to indicate? There's something also about how Jessica's powers are like coming and going, and she doesn't always have them anymore. So that's alluded to, but not really fulfilled. It's not something they really like stick with. They're not like, oh, well, let's explain this. So, and I Loved Jessica Jones, the series. I know it's been a few years, but I feel like I remembered that show, and I don't remember her powers glitching at the end of it, and I don't remember her having a daughter. So, um, but whatever. And of course, she doesn't explain like, well, I got married, or this is my baby with Luke Cage, or anything like that, which would have been a nice touch to just allude to the fact that, they hooked up and, well, maybe we'll get Luke Cage, because I know Mike Coulter's chomping at the bit to jump in on this. But after seeing the way that they shoehorned Jessica Jones, the Punisher showing up felt better than the way Jessica just kind of like pops in and then pops out. Daredevil had taken Ben back to the lair, but Karen's not having it. Karen is just refusing to follow orders and gets herself into trouble at the end. But Ben's chained to a bed and is basically, begging for Karen to kill him. This guy just really wants to die. We get Vanessa's funeral in this episode. I'm jumping all around. I'm sorry. I had a lot of thoughts about just Jessica Jones. Just threw everything off. I mean, so much other stuff happened in the episode, but I was like, I've been waiting for this moment, for a moment like this. Some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this, and it just didn't even come remotely close to what I thought I might get. It was sort of like the weirdest version of this that I could have imagined. So Vanessa's funeral happens, and then there's like some sort of memorial for Vanessa, but some people are rallying against it. So you see like mobs in the city. Fisk is letting Powell and the Goon Squad just do whatever they want. Cashman in this episode has a brief moment with Blake where, because it's Blake's birthday, and he and BB, well, Blake is just on edge. So BB says something to him that I think she probably wasn't trying to use as like oh, give me information, because it's his birthday. So even if she was like, for an undercover agent, you would, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would try to remember somebody's birthday. It's like, she's your girlfriend? Like, why do you think it's weird that she knows when your birthday is? But he's so cagey about it. He's like, why are you all in my life? It's like, it's your birthday, man. What are you doing for it? I thought we're dating. Anyway, so he goes out to his mom's, and BB asks to come along, and Cashman tells Blake that he thinks BB's the leak, and Blake doesn't, and Cashman has him do that thing where they give out a fake piece of information, but they give it to only one person, and if it gets leaked, then they know it's her. So, so Blake sets that up and tells her that, she can't tell anybody, but his heart's not in it, but the mayor's not running for re-election. So it's like not really even a harmful piece of anything. So then they have birthday dinner with his mom, and he seems just sort of weirded out the whole time. She goes up to his room. She's going up to the bathroom because she's going to send a text message with the information that he told her. And then she sees his bedroom, and it's just like this normal bedroom. And she's charmed enough by it and realizes that Blake's a normal guy, and there might actually be a good person in there, I guess. So she deletes the message and then walks back downstairs, and he found like an SD card in her coat pocket, because I guess he frisked her coat while she was upstairs. It's like, what is the point of you doing the other thing if you're just going to look through the coat? And it's just an SD card and you don't know what's on it. you know, she is a journalist. You know she's a journalist. This isn't like one of those things where your secret girlfriend is a spy. You know, you're openly dating a journalist. I don't know what else to tell you. So, but he thinks that the SD card is this stuff, and I don't know why she can't blow that off. Like in this time, what's he gonna do? Plug it into something? Where is he gonna plug it in? To what? Um, and it could have also, it could have been something else that was even on the card to begin with. So he doesn't know what's on the card. This is a really, really overblown scene, but then they start watching the news and they see that there's this riot or whatever that's happening down there. And I'll get back to that in a second. But so that's kind of where their trajectory goes for those characters. Cashman, after talking to Blake, his big thing is, well, at the beginning of the episode, he goes and cleans up, presumably cleans up the dead doctor that Fisk hugged to death. And then he tells Blake, and Cashman then also is seen with Heather because Heather is still having mental health issues, and talks to her about her problems, and Heather feels bad because Muse came to her and she was a therapist and she couldn't help him, and Cashman pushes her to talk about the violence that happened against her, and then has her strangle him, but she didn't kill him. He stops her. It's very sort of calming, like he can just be strangled, you know, by Heather and just be fine. Kind of wondering if Cashman is powered. You know what I'm saying? Like, does he have powers and we just don't know it yet? Like his stuff hasn't been revealed. But so he ends the episode telling Fisk that the governor has pulled support. So that's kind of the totality of Cashman for the episode. So that's all Blake, Cashman, and BB do. Bullseye is chained to a bed the whole episode and doesn't do anything else. He has a scene with Karen where Karen points a gun at his head, but Daredevil throws a billy club at it and knocks the gun out of her hand. And then Matt and Karen have a huge fight, which they had already had at the beginning when she saw Bullseye in there in the first place. Matt talked to her and was like, we're better than this. We don't do this, you know, vengeance. And she was like, I know I still, after killing whatever his name was, I still have nightmares. And then, so Matt trusts her to watch Bullseye, which I think is weird, but whatever. He comes back and she's got a gun to his head. So the reason why Matt leaves is because Jessica needs him. So he goes off to meet Jessica. And because at the beginning, well, toward the beginning of the episode, not the very beginning, but toward the beginning of the episode, you see there's a little girl that's like playing around in an apartment and somebody throws a bomb through the window. And then you hear a whole bunch of people being beaten up off screen, and the bomb is like ticking down, and this little girl wearing like a fairy outfit is dancing around with this bomb in her hand. I was like, where is this scene going? Can we please get the bomb out of the little girl's hand? So Jessica walks in the room and just immediately knows how to disarm it. And it's like, no, this is not a toy. And then she calls up Matt and she's like, you said this wouldn't hit me. So this wouldn't come for me. Okay. Did you move out of New York? Where do you live now? Like, so, I mean, the hilarious thing about this is that when you think about, like, Daredevil is not called Matt Murdock. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of the heroes who has, like, a different name. Her name is her name. So she didn't hide behind anything. So I would think people would know You know, you either know Jessica Jones is powered or not. You know, it's not like same with like Luke Cage. Like these people don't have a secret name. So she's like surprised that this vigilante task squad figured it out, I guess. But she talks about how the government had tried to recruit her. So, and that she had been following some of this is coming from the government, not from these other, I don't know, warlords. So, then they go to where the weapons are being held at Powell's facility, and they fight. Jessica has a little glitch, like she alludes to the fact that her powers are glitching. I don't know how, but whatever. Um, we don't really explain much. They wanted to get a cool Jessica Jones fight sequence in there, so it's Daredevil and Jessica Jones beating some goons up at a warehouse. Powell almost gets the drop on Jessica, but the AD said brains him, but Powell didn't die, so I thought that was a little bit of an extreme use of that word. Usually, brains means something else, not just hits him in the head. You know, usually means that there's some sort of like an actual thing. But Powell's fine for like the rest of the episodes. So he basically just got hit in the head. Clubbed him would have been better. Um, and then they exit, and Matt ends up back at, and that's when he stops Karen from killing Bullseye. I don't know if we're gonna see Jessica again. She wasn't really a massive use or help in this whole thing. Powell's starting to get more screen time. He figures out who the leak was, the agent that talked to Karen, and gets freakishly close to him and then kills him and then says that Daredevil killed him or something. And he Daredevil didn't use guns. It's just so stupid. But so then Powell tells his people to go weapons free, and they just start attacking the mob, which Karen is a part of. And the episode ends with Powell finding Karen and being like, "Oh my God, Karen Page," with his crazy voice. So I guess Karen is now captive because she won't listen to anybody and just rage quits on her own. Just goes and does her own thing. The only other thing that happened was there was some talk from like random staff members about Sheila, and there was a little bit of a hint about like monarchies and not giving up power. There's the scene with Mr. Charles and the governor, where the governor's like, "I'm the governor," and he gives some speech about that the little fish usually don't talk to the big fish. This is not how the food chain works. I'm like, I feel like you have to be disposable. Like he has a lot of talk for somebody with no powers in a system where Luke Cage could like come in at any moment and just like throw him from throughout, like through the wall of a building and then like into the street. So it's just like he just lives in a different world for somebody to be this confident. Anyway, but he wants, since Fisk stole his guns, he wants to get Fisk out of office. There's a prolonged fight sequence between Daredevil and Kingpin that goes on for a while because there's talk. Karen's like, I feel like one of you has to die because you're just going to keep attacking each other. That kind of happens. And Matt is trying to get Kingpin to agree to, like, if if he leaves the city, Matt will leave the city, and they'll just both leave, and nobody will have New York. I don't know if it solves the problem. I think Kingpin is just going to go be Kingpin somewhere else in that scenario. I don't think that he just becomes somebody else's problem. So whatever. But there's a prolonged fight sequence in which nobody wins. Both of them are fine at the end of it. They're both alive. So, um, and that is the episode. That's everything that happened in Daredevil Born Again. Oh, there's a video that plays at the end where Kingpin is in his office, and it's after the fight with Daredevil, and he's looking to leave, and they play this video of the ones that had been taken off the street by ICE. I mean, uh anyway, it's a whole bunch of like immigrant people talking about how they were taken and thrown into these prisons by Kingpin. It's highly an allusion to something, despite the fact that this was shooting already last year before we got a lot into where we are today with those things. So it's kind of interesting how I feel like this was being written and told at the same time, like prophesized or something. They didn't shoot this like yesterday. So, um, but that's one of the things that happens. Anyway, that's the episode. It's Jessica Jones's episode, and so I feel like I've been waiting all season for this, and that was all I got, and I'm highly disappointed. She's shoehorned in very poorly, and then she's here, and then she exits. It doesn't feel like she's joining the cast. It feels like she tripped and fell into the Daredevil universe, and now she's it's just whoops, my bad. Um, Let me get up out of here real quick. I assume we're not going to see her again because they could barely use her as it was. Um, so I doubt she's in any other episodes, but I would be pleasantly surprised if she was and they actually tried to explain more of what they were doing with her. Um, I just don't see that happening. She's so poorly written here that it's impossible for me to believe that that's what's happening. So, that's it. I don't grade until the end, so that's my recap. I'll be back next week. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the other side.